So hey everyone, um, just a couple of things. I went to the doctor and went for a usual checkup, and she mentioned my fatty liver, which kind of means that I need to start doing some more things about that. Diet and exercise is basically what she said, which I mean is probably what doctors tell like 90% of people, but it's also kind of one of those things that it's just like, yeah, I really don't want to have to have things get worse. So I just need to swear off some things because I mean, I thought I was, I was cutting back on a lot of stuff, but I was also kind of hoping that just indulging a little once in a while wouldn't really would improve things. I don't know if it has or if it's not, but I'm gonna see what I can do about that. And that being said, there's a lot of things that are currently on my I shouldn't have list, and I'll just have to be a little bit more disciplined about that going forward, at least for a little while. Maybe when things improve, I can go back to occasionally treating myself, but at least for the time being anyway, I have to try and be good with a couple of exceptions. Generally speaking, I've made a couple of, I've bought some nuts and berries and snacks to keep at work. Some salted edamame beans, dry roasted beans, which are kind of crunchy like nuts, and I actually like them, so I think this is going to be easier than I thought. Um, I really just have to make sure I don't drink anything carby at home, which means no soda. I thought about switching to diet, but it's like it seems like there's, you know, you pick your poison. Diet comes with its own issues, but I think was why I didn't switch to diet in the first place. I cut way back on my soda intake, but it's still, at least as far as I can tell anyway, generally too high. So that's out. And there's a bunch of other things. It's like I've thought of some low carb snacks that I can keep around the house: string cheese, pepperoni, uh, hard boiled eggs, apples. Um, what else? Grapes. It's like I'm gonna try and start, taking like an apple to work for lunch or something instead of making frozen lean cuisine dinners. And I don't know, maybe that'll make a difference because I know frozen meals aren't supposed to be super great, but it's a convenient way to get food and have it prepared quickly and all that jazz. But maybe that's part of the problem. But that's okay. It's like instead of that, I'll get more fresh fruit and just kind of eat that and just try and go that route. And I don't know what else, but it's like I've been trying to avoid carbs and sugars and starches and all that kind of stuff. And to some degree, I intend I intend to allow myself to have fries when I bake them at home, but fast food fries are right out, which is going to be difficult for me. But I'm gonna try and do what my partner does and just get like the sandwich, like when we go out to a fast food place, because he seems to be doing pretty well. Um, he's got like a bunch of health issues that I don't want to discuss here, but suffice to say that it seems to do all right with him. So I think I'll try that as well, because I'm sure that a lot of the things that you get when you go out to fast food places aren't great for you, but at the very least, I mean, fast food fries are probably like movie theater buttered popcorn. They're probably like some of the worst things you can have. Um, but that being said, we'll see how that works. It's like I'm going to try and scale back as far as when we do eat out, because if it works for my partner, maybe it'll work for me. But that being said, just like I've been trying to get up more during the day, work, I've been pretty busy and moving around the office. So, hopefully it'll all add up in time. And then once I get to the point where I'm happy with things, I can sort of allow a couple of things back into the routine, or at least every once in a while, sort of thing. Because I just need to be able to be a little bit better about some stuff, and I think I can. I think that a lot of it is just the right mindset and getting yourself into a place where it's like it's your idea, so it's a little easier for me to stick to. Um, let's see. But as far as general stuff, that's about all that's worth reporting right now. Um, oh, um, I guess I can also mention that it will be my birthday in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to mention a specific date here, but I think some of you already know what it is. If not, you can always ask me in a DM. I'm just not going to put it out here. I may have already in previous years. I don't know, but it just seems like one of those things like I'd rather not get specific about at this particular instance. Um, but it'll be, let's see, what will I be? 43? Yeah, I think 43. I'm born in 82, so 2025. No, 2024, 42. Okay, I'm aging myself unnecessarily. 42, I think. I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be my birthday, and it'll be low key as usual, but right now I haven't scheduled to take it off. I usually do, and I don't know. I might. Kind of depends. It's like I normally I would just do it without a thought, but it's like I have day off on the 17th to hopefully get my hair re-dyed because it's almost about that time of year, and I'm gone a little while after for a con. Um, as far as whether I mean, normally I go every 6 months. This time I might go in 3 months, so I might go back in October because I have another con there that I really want my hair to look nice and good for. Um, let's see. I guess that's about it for life stuff. In writing news, I am working on the edit for Winterfall. I'm still working on heavily editing chapters 9 and probably a good part of 10 just to sort of tweak in and sharpen it. I don't know if the rest of the book needs it, but it probably needs at least another once over based on some of the things Utunu has commented. But there are some parts that I just want to keep, and I don't care if they end up being cliched or contrived or whatever the case may be for some of these items. However, others can be improved and refined and so on. So I will kind of take it on a case-by-case basis because, I mean, ultimately I realize it's my book and I can decide, what I want to do with it and stuff. I mean, I prefer to avoid any like glaring issues, but maybe they're not something 90% of people would notice. But I still want to make sure that at least it's as good as I think it can be. But this is going to be the last major round of edits. Once I finish whatever it is, whatever changes I make, I'm putting it out there and I'm moving on. Because I just kind of think like I need to. I think it's at the point where it's just like, I don't know. I mean, okay, I'm better with edits and I'm more okay with it than I was before. It was just, I don't know. There was this big mental block and fear of just wanting to do more than perfunctory changes, and I don't know. Maybe that's normal. Maybe that's something. But it's like I mean, a lot of the parts of the process of the things that I do, like even doing this YouTube video, there was a time where it took me quite a while to gather up the courage even to turn on the camera. But and I think that the more you do it, the more confidence you get, and then the less it becomes a thing, and then it's just a matter of going through the motions. Um, but also, I would say that I am also working on a new short story to break up the editing, honestly, and also to give myself the feeling that I'm putting out material. Because editing, it's like I kind of don't have a lot to report because it's just there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't make sense to anybody if I told them. But as far as I'm working on an experimental project that's kind of a little bit of a proof of concept, and also to see if I can do it because I don't think I've ever tried to do this before. And what I'm doing is writing a story about feral furry characters, and so far anyway, I think it's going all right. Um, there's no dialogue, which is very different for me, and it's also just kind of despite having been in furry all this time, it's something I don't think I've ever tried, or at least not with the entire cast being feral characters. So it's been an exercise in hopefully growing me as a writer, and hopefully it'll be something that people like on its own. It's probably going to be a standalone project just by itself. It may end up eventually having some sort of follow-up, I don't know, but mostly it's just to determine if I can do it at all before I try and scale onto a larger project of its type. But that being said, there's still a lot of work left to do for Winterfall 2. Still working on ideas for the other projects to try and get those nailed down. Basically, there's just a lot of things being done. In video news, I'm going to do a vlog, as I always do. I am going to, let's see, what am I doing? I am going to probably do the video plate for at least one video that I know I need to do. And that'll probably be it. It may not be too heavy of a day. But we'll see. I'll get at least one video completed and uploaded, and hopefully that'll be enough time. Um, Books I'm reading. I'm still reading When the World Was Young. I have broken into the Bronze Age. I have read the first book, the first story, Unseen, by Madison Scott Clary, and mostly it was good. I did notice one thing, at least insofar as a representation issue, which I did put in my review, is that they one of the major faux pas that they advise you not to is to heal someone's disability, and that does occur in the story. And I mean, the story itself was fine. It's like I thought the story was really good, but apparently it's just one of those things that is a little bit of a misstep when it comes to the disabled community. Um, I'm not sure if it's something most people think of. Maybe she wasn't aware of it. But, and I mean, it doesn't, it's not what I mean. I don't know. I can understand where it's coming from, because the idea, I suppose, is that, you know, um, we are who we are, and changing that, or suggesting that it needs to be fixed, is kind of a little bit of something that bothers some people, and I understand that, and I can see, it's kind of one of those things that's like, they a lot of disabled writers and such seem to advise you not to do. And let's see, but I am up to Priest of Lilies next. Um, and I think it'll be a good story. I'm going to try and read a little bit at a time, and just kind of as I feel like it, dip into the story until I finish. And then once I'm finished with that, I guess I'll probably start on Reclamation Project and start breaking down that for a in-depth review, because I try and give each short story a little bit of its own blurb. Let's see. I finished Fangcrest, and I have started reading Return to Divalia, which is the latest Kjellgold Argaia book. And I mean, one of the things that you always get with Kjellgold books is that you know that it's going to be a good story, because the man's a great writer. He really does a lot of good stuff. And I always know that when I read his work, I'm going to get a good experience that's going to expand my horizons and kind of really just provide a solid literary experience. And so I expect nothing but good things from this particular book. But I'm going to read this because it's been on my shelf for a while, and it's like I'm trying to go more or less in the order that I have picked them up. So that'll be next, and then I'll probably start once I finish one of the three things I'm reading now, or get to a good break point. I'll probably start reading Prisoners of War or Prisoners of Midnight, whichever one's first, and I'll start reading one of those and get that in the pipeline, and then kind of just alternate between other projects as I get through the three books in that little set. I'm still reading Transformations by Bernard Douve. I can't really say anything new about it that I haven't said before. It's like, it's enjoyable. It's got its flaws, but at least insofar as this particular book, I don't know. They don't seem to bother me as much as they do in some of his other work, but they're still notable as being things that really, for it to be impressive, needed to be sharpened up. It's a decent story, but it could have been a lot better. And as far as conventions, we have upcoming Star Trek Las Vegas. I will be busy as usual. I'm looking to have about the same amount of celebrity interactions planned. So far we've had a cancellation, which does affect us. Fingers crossed that any of other cancellations that we have don't really rock the boat too much, but it's kind of one of those things you just have to be expect when you come to these cons. Plan for the best, anticipate the worst, and be ready to pivot if there's a situation change. And I mean, for the most part, I think it should be fine. Usually we end up getting most of the folks that we go for. There's a few here that have not been, that I really hope we get taken care of, so fingers crossed on those fronts. But for the most part, it'll be good. Some of them will be trying to get pictures done without the barrier, because during the COVID years they had a plexiglass barrier, to which I understood, and I still understand, but I would like to get ones without them if I can. And just doing the best we can, getting the pictures and autographs that I know I need, and that'll pretty much be it. But we've got FurryCon about a month after that, and then a couple months after that I will be going to Chicago for a Battlestar convention. So that'll be interesting because it'll be by myself for one thing. I haven't gone to a convention by myself for a while. And I think it'll be probably pretty smooth, like Star Trek Las Vegas. Fingers crossed that it goes well and that we don't have any guest cancellations because, Battlestar has a lot fewer guests in the first place. And I would like everybody to be there, but, things happen, events happen, people have commitments, so fingers crossed. But other than that, things are good. I'm going to be continuing to work on processing reviews, on reading, on playing some of the games that I'm trying to work through, because there's some games that I have on my PC that I just need to play and just decide what to do with. And, I want to go play some old games, because I recently played through Star Trek 25th Anniversary and Star Trek Judgment Rights. And those were a lot of fun. And going through them kind of refreshed my memory as far as how to play some of these games. And I don't know, back when I had what I perceived to be, I guess, limitless possibilities, I kind of purchased a lot of games that, I now had the option to play that I never had before. And some of them I just need to play just to see if they're worth keeping on my computer. I played something not that long ago called Deliver Us the Moon. It was an interesting story. It was kind of a really good sci-fi, one of those things where you learn the story of what happened as you go through the mission. And it was interesting. I would definitely recommend it if you're into space and like realistic sci-fi settings and just kind of peeling back the layers. The only thing I would say, though, is that it's kind of a game that I can only see playing once. I don't think that it's the kind of game that I would want to go through multiple times. Now, that may change after a couple of years pass or something, but at least as far as a story, it was like kind of a one-and-done sort of thing. So, that one is just kind of one of the... It's like, a lot of the games I played, some of them I decided I wanted to play just at least to have the experience at least once. Get the enjoyment, decide if I like them, and then decide if I keep them afterwards, which is what I'm trying to do with a lot of stuff these days. And I think that some of them I just know I'm not going to keep once I finish, but some of them I might. And if nothing else, as long as I'm at least enjoying it at the time, that's what's really important. But anyway, I think I've been talking long enough now, so next one will probably have something to do with the con itself, or, soon after I'll have to put together a con report, but that's it for now, so catch you all later.
If you like werewolves, check out my book Blue Moon, available in paperback and ebook on Amazon.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. You can also find me on Twitter and a few other places on the web, or support me via Patreon or Ko-fi. Zebra hugs!